Okay.
There it's filming.
This is
Go.
Hello and welcome to the fourth tutorial for the fifth space. The tutorial today is about bringing your ideas to life, and behind me you see a storyboard, and in a minute Matthew and I are going to explain all about how to make it. So we've taken a simple idea that you might be familiar with, which is the idea of a car sharing service. And we're just going to show you a couple of ways to bring an idea to life into a story. We tell the story from the user perspective. So in the story you'll see in a minute, we're going to tell the story about Matthew and Charlotte from their perspective, and in future tutorials we will sort of go a level deeper and we'll add the back end and the behind the scenes and more of the service provider perspective in the story. But for now we just focus on end users. Yeah. What if I could go wherever, whenever, without having to own a vehicle? Meet Matthew and Charlotte. They've just moved out of Europe for a bit of a change in lifestyle and to explore the nature around Vancouver. They've got their bikes with them, but they can't really go everywhere by bike. Matthew and Charlotte have seen cars going around with blue square, and they've been wondering what it was. And they see it's a car sharing service. The weather has been good lately, and they've been thinking about exploring the North Shore, but it's a little bit too far to get there by bicycle. 2 weeks later, the weather is really good. It's weekend. It's sunny outside. They want to go to the North Shore, which is a little bit too far to go by bicycle. They remember the car sharing service. They go to the website. It looks a little bit complicated, but they watch a short introduction video, and maybe it's quite doable. Matt decides to sign up straight away. It's free. 2 weeks later, they get their membership card in the mail, and they decide to make their first booking today. On the app, Charlotte and Matt see where the nearest cars are parked. They check into the car and they get on the way. Soon they're well out of Vancouver and into the nature. After a nice trip, they make it back home and they hit the finish button. Yes, they'd really just leave it there. 6 months later, Matt logs into his account and finds an overview of the rides that they've made. They're pretty happy with Blue Square, and they're thinking where to go on the next trip. Top tip! When planning a story, think about the sequence. So that is like, what happens before your idea? How do people actually find out and know about it? How do they get into your idea? How do they join, sign up, first time use? How do they actually use it? Over time, how might the use develop? How might they come to use more and more functions of it? Potentially at some point they leave, or and even they might re-engage. So the way we did that is we made this plan, and we were just thinking of the different stages, just to make sure that we've got it all covered in the story. Now, your storyboard might not need all of these stages, but it's pretty useful as a checklist.
Top tip, we feel it's really good to make clear what people are feeling and what they are thinking at the points of time in your storyboard. For example, here we're thinking, you can see myself and Charlotte discovering the car, and we are thinking, what is this? And that's just could be something that we're interested in. So as you go through the storyboard, it's good to add captions, not only describing what is happening in the photograph, but also what the users are thinking at that time.
Top tip. When taking the pictures, zoom in and zoom out, and zoom in a lot and zoom out a lot, and see what it does for the picture. Some types of shots you will really want to show lots of details, like here for example, when you show what can be seen on an iPhone screen, or here, so that you can actually read what it says on the card. Versus other shots, like here in the beginning, this is more what we would call an establishing shot, where you show where we are and who are the people in the story.
Top tip. One thing you can do to really help make the service touch points, or the points of interaction within your concept visible, is use one colour throughout your whole storyboard. So you can see here we've used the colour blue to really highlight all of the points of interaction where you come into contact with the service. We mocked up blue little screens for the iPhone, you can see here, and we used a blue button in the car. That helps make clear all the touch points. You don't have to worry about the design of these things yet. You can see here on the side of the car we've actually just used a square. We haven't designed that yet, what that thing is, but we know we need to do something at that point in time, so we just used the colour blue to highlight that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Top tip, there are different techniques, and choose a technique that you feel comfortable with. To make this storyboard, we acted out what's happening in the story. There is other ways of doing it. Another one is playing it out with something like Lego or Playmobil. And Playmobil is good in particular for situations that are difficult to act out. It also makes it a little bit easier to show what happens behind the scenes. You can sort of draw easily on a piece of paper and stick it into the picture. Playmobil is also helpful because it takes away lots of detail. In this picture there's lots of things around. You see trees, planters, spots going on. In this picture the Playmobil figures are a lot simpler, and that could help to focus. You can also sketch things out. When you sketch things, there is even less detail. You can choose exactly what you, which details to add and which not. And another advantage of sketching is that you can make the emotions stronger. You can amplify the emotions to show the experience, like what people are feeling and thinking, perhaps more so than with the Playmobil. As you've seen, what we've done here is we've drawn everything just with black, and that makes it even more clear. So where do you see the service in this story?
Okay.
Okay, so good luck. We know this stuff always takes a little bit more time than you think. This is what we've made this morning in 3 hours. Yeah, but we've done this stuff before, so we would assume this probably takes about for you to get to.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think one thing to remember is that at this point in time you don't need to worry about how things necessarily look or are designed. You can be super fast with mocking up simple screens and things like that. You don't even need to think really too much about what's on there.
It's more about what it does at this stage than about what it actually looks like. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, well, good luck.